Welcome to Peep Game TV and Keeping It Real team collaboration, where we don't shy away from the truth. We don't run away from the controversial conversations, and nor are we afraid to talk about things that other people don't talk about. So open your minds and settle in. What's up, brother?
I like that. You hit it right on the nose. That's how I feel. For real. That's how I be feeling. Like I'm not shying away from nothing when it come to this internet stuff. You know what I mean? I just try to keep it real and keep it truthful as much as I could.
Absolutely.
How about you?
That's it, brother. You know me. I want to keep it real. You know, put people up on games so they can keep peep the game, and keep it real. That's why we got Peep Game TV and Keeping a Real team collaboration.
peep,
You know what I'm
peep,
saying?
peep the
Peep
game and
game
keep it
and put them
real.
up on what's real. Be real with the people, man. You
Yeah,
know, put
yeah.
them up on some game.
The title speak for itself,
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
other than that, I'm just glad we still above ground, and we got another week, um, another week to do our thing and enlighten the people.
yeah.
If they want to be fed, we gonna feed you.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You know.
that's why I want them to open their minds up and settle in. You know,
Mm.
so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start off with giving you a question. You know,
Okay.
this question is something that, you know, shapes a part of the society. You know, the legal system, depending on who you ask, you know, they may say, you know, it's designed for certain people, you get many different answers.
Hmm.
So, you know, the question is, do you believe the legal system as it stands today, works for everybody, or you know, is it something that's just for certain people? So, other words, do you believe in the legal system that it works the way they say it works?
They used to say that um the legal system. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but they used to say the legal system shines or favors the person with the money. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Um, we know we know over history that a lot of laws were made to protect certain people and hurt other people. But then sometimes you got to use your own experiences in life. And most of my experiences with the legal system have showed me that I really can't have faith in it. Even when I want to, even if at times it has shined favorable on me or somebody I knew, you could count other times when it was just unjust as that. You know what I mean? When you said, man, how the hell can that happen? How the hell can this person go to jail for something and then another person walk free from it? How could somebody uh, get 10 years for something and the next person get 20 years for it? Uh, some people might get probation for something when some people might have to do time. So it really can't be legal. But I always had a problem with somebody life being um and well, I want to say one person, but it's 12 jurors. I always had problems with that. Now I don't got the answer to it or how they could solve the problem, or I just don't think that letting 12 people, they say, of your peers decide your fate, because you don't know where the 12 people heart is at. You don't know what the 12 people been through. Even though they put them through that jury um procedure to see if if they if they suitable to serve on the jury, that could be covered up. You know what I mean? Um Say for instance, me and you was a jurors.
Right.
We know too much about what has happened in the past, or how people have been unjustly convicted, and people have been charged for crimes that they didn't do. And a lot of people, some people belong in jail. Don't get me wrong. Some people do belong in jail. I'm not gonna say that they don't. Some people um, deserve to be uh, just to get help and don't need to be incarcerated. But that's a whole nother spectrum. So in a whole, in a nutshell, and I don't know the answer to it, but I'm just saying, in the whole thing, in a nutshell, I don't believe the system that we use is the correct system. Uh, until they could stop executing people, letting people do 20 and 30 years in jail, and then finding out that they never did the crime, or until they could stop sending this person to jail for 5 years, and somebody do the same crime and they go to jail for 20 years. Um, for example, like Puffy. I can't think of the guy name, not Einstein, somebody else. It was another white man doing the same, did just as much as Puffy did when Puffy, but they never gave Puffy bail, but he got bail right away. You know what I mean? So that right there is unjust. But anyway, I don't believe in the legal system. I think it favors on the people with money and the people with different complexions. What about you?
Well, you know me. The way I look at it is it it's a foreign system. You know what I'm saying? Many of us, many people don't realize that America came, here. They tell us they came from another land, settlers, pilgrims. So they say that they came from another land. So I think that it caters to the people who come from the same land they come from, or people that they feel, could fit in with that stereotype. And it's, from what you're saying, it's not equal. It's a lack of equality when it comes to dishing out sentences. Okay, if you have a certain amount of money, you may be able to escape. However, it's a business, so it's going to be handled as such. So that means if it's a business and its product is people, then they got to have some product. They got to figure out how to keep product in the business. You know, so hence why sometimes people get more time than others. Some people mess around and walk away, but others do a lot of time. I remember the time when you and I was in court, when I had the lawyer, when they said I tried to take their gun, and me and you were standing there, and then they went to the lawyer, was supposed to be person from NAACP. They
Yeah.
went to him and then asked them who was Andre Hill, and he pointed right away to me. You know, so that alone showed me that there was injustice. And then, when I went took it to trial, and I was talking to the judge, and I had to play the lawyer myself, and I asked the simplest question, and anybody watching, you would know the answer to this question. I asked them, which hand did Mr. Hill go to grab the gun with? And normally, because they know most people are right-handed, the cop said his right hand. And I said, well, Mr. Hill is left-handed. So 9 out of 10 times, the person that goes for something, they're going to use the hand that they use regularly. You know,
Yeah.
that alone, I would have said, hey, the case is dismissed.
Yeah.
But the judge found it like, oh, he's a jailhouse lawyer. So that
Yeah.
that incident put a stain in my view on the legal system, the justice system, the injustice system, because normally what they say is you're innocent until proven guilty. But the way that I've dealt with it, now there's been times, as you said, it's been favorable to me, but I still had to confess to being guilty of something most times. And when I was guilty, it didn't matter. But at that point, when I wasn't guilty, it did bother me. So what's up, Nay?
You did.
So
You
yeah,
did.
so
You did. You did. You did call the. You did call the lawyer a sellout before we went.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, what else? What else could I call him? That's definitely what he was. Straight sold me out. Then they're gonna say he couldn't represent both of us, and I didn't want him to represent me after that. You know?
Yeah, I remember the judge told me. He told me I did all that talking and talking and talking. I'm telling the truth. He said I knew you was lying as soon as you opened your mouth. And but I don't want to stay on this too long, but
Right.
that right there was the first time that I ever really witnessed injustice, because when yeah, that was the first time when I witnessed it after that, but that was the first time when I ever seen police officers get on a stand and straight up lie. Because remember, they got on the stand and they
Yeah.
straight up and lied and said that we was trying. I think they said we made like a fence or something with our hands or something
Yeah.
to
We try
try
to
to
block
stop
them
them from
from doing what they were doing.
trying to
Yeah.
block them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We was
that was
obstructing
a straight
justice.
up.
We was
Yeah, that was a
obstructing it,
straight up.
obstructing the
And
sidewalk or
when he
something.
when he got up there and said that, I couldn't believe him. Like, this joker is lying right on the stand.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
it.
that's
That's
when the lawyer had told him who was who, because they said, well, who was that? You know what I mean? And then he had told him already, that's Andre Hill.
right.
You know what I mean? And that, 'cause it was no way they could remember from months ago from that.
No,
But
no.
anyway,
Yeah. And they got that off. So, it is what it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
But that's one of my reasons for not really, being too favorable when I look at
yeah.
the system.
But yeah, that was something. Um, let me see. We by now, I think we all know that about you wrote your autobiography, and most people, if they read it by now, they know um they should know about most of the book. Well, if you read it, of course you know it, so you have a review of it. But it's probably people who still got questions, but maybe they haven't had the opportunity to ask you yet. And it's probably a few that want to ask you about the opening of the book. So I mean, you could get the answer in now. Um, why did you choose to talk about music in the introduction of your book?
Well, my first thought was, when we was growing up, the type of music we used to listen to, the type of music our parents used to listen to, and how that music kind of, shaped your mindset, kind of even gave you some type of emotion. It connected to you emotionally. Back then they used to call it soul music. So it used to like connect to your soul. You used to feel like, man, I feel good listening to this music. I feel inspired listening to this music. So
Right.
I chose to touch on music first because that, I believe, is a key component of how a vehicle that is used to either enlighten or mislead people. You know what I mean? Music can do both. Music can enlighten you, make you feel good, make you feel inspired, or it can mess around and distract you and send you down the wrong road. And I think too often, most of the music that is played consistently or that young people listen to, like even my grandsons, you know what I mean? I listen to what they're listening to, and it is, to me, it's unhealthy. It's,
Yeah.
it basically talks about violence, drugs, and sex. It's very,
Mm-hmm.
it's very few artists, and I named the artists who I believe that were living up to what I believe an artist should live up to, where they're making the type of music that actually can inspire and uplift the community and people in it and young people and the imagery. There's a lot of female rappers now, and how often back then when we was growing up, you had Queen Latifah, Moni Love, and MC Light. They
Lauren
all
Hill.
right, right. Well, Lauryn Hill was later. We was already grown
Oh, you
by
talk
the
okay,
time.
you talking about the ones back then.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, we were actually coming up, and rap was like still kind of new. Hip hop was pretty
yeah.
new. However, even Lauryn Hill,
Roxanne.
she represents a type of music where it can touch your intellect and kind of inspire you. And a lot of them now, the lyrics that they're talking about, you know what I mean? It just sets a mindset where I think, where most people just headed sexually. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what's one? You got big dick energy. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Now you saying that? Come on, like that alone, that caters to sex, and you don't, and especially you got young girls in their teens, even little ones haven't even reached their teens, listening to that. How's that going to affect them? So that's why I put the music in, because I'm thinking about the effect that the music has on the people who are listening, that are real influential. So that was the purpose of it. I mean, you read it when you read the music part. What did you think? What did you think? Why you
Yeah,
said I put it in?
yeah. I didn't. In my books, I never started with music, but I could say that I could talk about to the point of what I thought. I thought it was a good way to start a book because um we was born in the '60s, and everybody who know, well, people if they old enough to know that the music in the '60s and the '70s, the '50s, all that music, what you said earlier, that was soul music.
Yeah, yeah,
That was
right.
real. That
Yeah,
was
it's called the
that
soul music.
that was real. That was real music back then. So I thought it was a good idea to start it with music. And another thing to prove your point, my daughter, my youngest daughter, she 24, so she went to see the movie Michael, the Michael Jackson movie. You know what I mean? So she texted me and she said, "Oh, I went to see the Michael movie." So I said, "How was it?" She said it was good. She said that I didn't know he had like all of like them. So she said, "Oh, Billie Jean, like something that's my song, and I'm bad." Or, you know what I mean? She just was like,
Oh,
like that was a whole nother realm from what they
right.
used to. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's my song. All the songs Michael had from the '80s and stuff like that. Off the Wall album. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Thriller and all that. She like, oh, that's my songs. He like, tell me more of his songs so I can look them up. So
Oh, okay. That was good.
the yeah the divide and the divide and the difference of the music, like you said, from the music they hear now. I mean, they got some good R&B singers. Don't
Yeah,
get me
yeah.
wrong.
Right.
They still have role model singers like Mary J, Anita Baker, um, even some younger ones like who else is that? Lotto. They got them girls like that singing, but it's nothing like the music from our era. It's nothing like that. So anyway, I thought it was a good choice. To start off a book with music, because if you think about it, they always say that food is the way to a man's stomach, and then music is a way to a man's soul.
All right.
So,
All right.
or anybody's soul, put it like that.
All right. Let's shift gears. Marriage is one of the oldest. Marriage is one of the oldest institutions. In the world. Uh, but the world is changing. You know. Expectation is changing. New ideas floating around. That kind of stuff. So, my question is, how do you feel about marriage where you renegotiate or have an evaluation to see if you want to stay together? You know,
Um, yeah, I like the way you broke that down because it was long, but that's you broke it down good. But because what happened was a lot of times, like when I'm alone, or I've been doing. I told you I done fell in love with walking and stuff. And the other day I was walking and I was thinking about marriage, and I was saying that what about if marriage was like a lease? You know what I
okay,
mean? You know how people you get a 1 year lease on an apartment or on a
right?
car, a 2 year lease or a 5 year lease. I'm like, what about if a marriage could be like after you marry somebody, but then after 5 years you got to have it evaluated. You know what I mean? Or and then after another 5 years, after 10 years, I'm like, I wonder how many people would still be together if you knew that, if you knew it going into it, that okay, instead of knowing that, oh, this is to death do us part. because that's what they tell us.
Right, right,
We didn't write that. We didn't make that. That's I don't know where it started in the Bible or wherever it started at. Like you said, it's the oldest thing. They was jumping over brooms in slavery time. So, but what about if it was something that where you got married to somebody and you knew from the beginning that okay, we was gonna do this thing 5 years, and after 5 years, you go your if it ain't right, you go your way and I go my way. Or if it's good after five, then we do another lease of another 5 years. You know what I mean? Um, what would you think? And I was just thinking in my mind, I was like, that wouldn't be that bad of an idea. To have it'll be a lot more. I think it'll be a lot more happy people, or to be a lot more people that was falling apart after 5 years that would maybe be able to stick together for another five, because after 5 years you would be uh, evaluated or renegotiated, and to say, okay, what you did this and I did that. What I mean? It's all just hypothetically speaking,
right,
but
right.
I came up with that, and I was like, that's not a bad idea, Jay. You know what I mean? Instead of just putting somebody here, okay, we together from to death do us part. I'm only gonna be what I I'm standing before in holy matrimony in front of the preacher and all these people saying that I'm only gonna be with you, just one person, you, for the rest of my whole life. That's a lot of pressure to put on somebody when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you depending on your makeup, you know.
Yeah,
So,
but
so
I think that I think that when people get married, they they all makeup is gonna be that they think they could do it. I get that. I mean, I guess that's why you get married, because you thought you was gonna be able to do it for the long haul. But how many people do it? For the long haul. I mean, the percentage got to be low. But I just that was just an analogy I had. You know what I mean? But anyway, what you think about it?
yeah, I mean, what the thing is, it's almost like some people do the prenup. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like some people, like,
yeah,
okay, we're gonna put this thing in here that if you do this or you don't do that, then you know, or if I'm gonna leave, or if you leave, you're not going with this. So it kind of put me in the mind of something like that. You,
yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so I would imagine it would be cool if it's drawn up correctly. It's drawn up in a manner
Mhm.
where, okay, say after 5 years, somebody say, well, for the next 5 years, I would like to see you show me more attention. I would like to see you work
Yeah,
less. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So something like that. Then you
yep,
negotiating, and then they give you what they want, and then you see, okay, well, the next 5 years we're going to try to save a certain amount of money to go on X amount of trips. So I think if it's done that way, I think it could be actually healthy for marriages. It,
and people probably do that.
yeah,
People probably do it.
yeah. I think it would actually be healthy because now you actually evaluating what you because it's kind of setting you up for another term, another 5 years. You know what I mean? We've got these
Or
terms agreed upon, so let's go.
or setting you up for the escape.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It'd
if the
be-
person, because the other thing, the person could say, "Look, I don't want to do that." You know what I mean?
yeah, I don't
I
want
don't.
to do another
I want to
five.
work. I want to work as much as I want to work. I don't want to take no trips. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah.
feel like
But
I've been showing you enough attention. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it could go that route.
I mean, yeah, that it just was a question. That's what we here for, to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about the
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
that
yeah. We here to, we
people
here to
don't talk about.
open people minds up and talk about,
Yeah.
things that, may be controversial, that,
Hmm.
you know, may be enlightening, may be something other people shy away from, as I said in the beginning. So, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. Um. All right, moving right along. Oh, okay. This I like this. Um, because we entrepreneurs. We both tried a lot of endeavors in life, and for everybody else who did too. For the people we see on TV who do it and stuff like that. But um, um, how important is family? How important is family support? How important is family support to a person's success? Do you think it is?
I think I think there could be a lot more successful people if family intervened or helped out in small ways. It doesn't, and a lot of times family members don't realize that you don't have to do anything that you don't normally do. Like a lot of people be on the internet every day. So how much time would it take for them to take the show and send it to their friend? How much time would it take for people to say, "Oh yeah, my uncle Book, you know, go get that." How much time would that actually take? But on the other hand, how many people would be introduced to something they may have not been introduced to due to family members? So I think it's extremely important because those same family members, you mess around and hit it big, those same family members will be calling you up, asking you, yeah, let me hold a little something, man. I heard you got that money like that. I heard you a millionaire. So why not help? Because the other thing is our culture, we are the biggest consumers. So if we the biggest consumers, that means we making millionaires. So why not make each other millionaires? Especially somebody you know. Wouldn't it be nice to have a person you know become a millionaire, and then you could say, if that person can do it, I can do it. You
Yeah.
know. So I think it's extremely important, and it's something that we need to do more of. And not saying that there's not family member that does kick in and help out and do what they can to help each other grow. I just think we can use more of it. You know what I mean? I think, I believe we are growing. I see a lot of individuals on here talking about different things. So I think we are growing, you know. So, but yeah, that's my thing. It's I believe it's extremely important. What do you think?
That's a you you dropped something on me maybe like a month ago. You dropped that on me like a month ago, and you said how much time would it take for once you make a post on, because everybody on the internet, I don't care, from 8 to 80, crippled, blind, and crazy, everybody on the internet.
Right.
So you made me really think when you said how much time would it take for, I'm not even gonna use your family, I'm gonna use my family. If every time I made a post that I was doing a podcast or to promote a book or something, if all my kids reposted it, All my nephews reposted it. All my nieces reposted it. All my siblings reposted it. My aunts, my uncles, my you know what I mean?
Right.
That right there alone, every time I made a post to promote something I did, if I'm not even gonna say all of them, let's say 50% of them, and that's being nice. Just say 50% because I should be saying 80%. But if 50% out of everything I just named, kids, siblings, uncles, aunts, grandkids, um, um, family, everybody I just named, I say maybe I
Yeah,
round that off to maybe like
cousins,
25.
uncles, nieces, all
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah.
round that. I put that in somewhere in
Nephews.
between 25 nephews. I put that somewhere in between 25 and 50 people.
Right.
If 25 people every time they see me make a post about my podcast or a book I did, if they repost it, because everybody got different friends.
Absolutely.
So when you told me that like a month ago, I was like, damn, imagine if that really happened.
Right.
But for real, but imagine how far the reach would go. Because you got we talking about getting reposts from people from what 15 to 75.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you got aunts and uncles that old and brothers and sisters in their upper 60s, whatever. I do, you do. But if
Yeah.
every time we post, even though, like you said, they like it and they might leave comments, that's cool. But how much time would it take for them to repost it? How much time would it take for them to share it? Every time they say, "Oh, my uncle or my brother, my father, what I mean, my grandfather. Let me
Yeah.
repost this stuff." You know what I mean? And that's big. That's
Hey,
big. If
get
you
it?
could get that, that's big.
Yeah, and it can be done. It's just a matter of, everybody, feeling that okay, it's something they willing to try. That's all. Because
Yeah, it's big.
I believe we can do anything we want to do as human beings. We just got to have faith in it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
put the work in. That's it.
yeah.
All right. Let's stir the pot up a little bit. You know, um, this has been a debate from churches, barbershops, you know, most people, people all over the world debate this and look at it. Some people be like, uh, I can't see it happening, or in the churches, mosques, probably even synagogues, they say, yeah, this needs to be done. So my thing is, the question is, do you think people should remain virgins until they get married?
I was thinking about that when I was doing my walk too the other day. And because most time when you say that, the first thing people generate to is a woman.
Right. Well, and you said
You know,
people,
that's
so you didn't make it exclusively women. You said people, so that
yeah,
includes men
people,
too.
a man or woman. Should they
Right.
should
That
they
yeah
stay virgins until they marry? Um, in a perfect world, that would be beautiful. Um, for two people to get married and both of them be virgins, the woman to be a virgin and the man to be a virgin. But unfortunately, in the times we living in, well, I don't even know if the times before, the generations before that. Um, I can't imagine maybe I don't know when that was maybe not even 30, 40, 50 years ago. I don't think. it was every possible. And then people would like to say, well, why would you do that when you didn't you won't have no experience, or why would you do that and then you only been with one person, you know what I mean? You didn't get to what they call that,
Experience
uh
to
soil
sow your
soil your
wild
oats.
oats.
Yeah, yeah. So you know what I mean? But in a unrealistic world, uh I think it would be a good thing. I think it would be fun. I think it would be exciting, and I think it would make for more bond between the two people, to know that he never been with nobody else and she never been with nobody else. You know what I mean? Because we so used to you marrying somebody and they got children already by somebody else, or maybe children by you, or maybe they slept with other people already. She slept with other people, or he slept with other people, or he got kids by somebody else. You know what I mean? So that's what we more used to, in the world. But like I said, in an unrealistic world, because I'm people saying that ain't realistic. In an unrealistic world, I think um I think it would be nice. I wouldn't mind trying that if I could if I could do it all over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
I would sign up for that. I would sign up for it. How about you?
I mean, I have a nephew
With
that,
with the person you love, with the person you love.
yeah, I have a nephew that actually, met his wife in college and she was a virgin. So it does exist. It's not like it's
Mm.
doesn't exist. It exists. It's just not promoted. It's just
Yeah,
not promoted as much as you know you been getting into sexual acts. But yeah, it still exists. I think though,
yeah,
as you said, if you if you both are virgins, there's nothing to compare it to. So you won't know it's going to be fantastic to you or whatever
yeah,
because that's all you know. The thing
yeah,
about getting involved with other people, now you have something to compare it to, you know?
yeah,
So that's why a lot of people today, relationships don't last depending on what your mindset is. Some people
yeah,
are just, the core of their relationship has to be good sex. That's the core.
yeah,
Some people, good sex is okay, but they got other things that draw them to a relationship. So depending on the individual, that's how that comes out. However, I think it should be promoted more. I think if it was promoted more, we'd have less people, less children out here missing a parent, you know?
yeah,
Because if
yeah.
if people running around having sex, what they say all willy nilly, like, you know, then they not sex really was geared towards reproduction.
Right.
Now it's reproduction probably not even the main thing. That's not even the thing that people having it for. It's for
Right.
pleasure.
Right.
So I think if anything, we may want to start striving to let people realize, like, okay, start being mindful that sex is for reproduction, and having sex just for the pleasure of it, you abusing it. You're abusing it, and
Yeah.
you're abusing yourself. You know, and
Yeah, that's true.
the other part is, do you want to have unprotected sex with somebody that you don't want to have a child with. Excuse me. You know, this is a major issue because people have children or they get somebody pregnant and they don't want to take accountability. They ready to run and get
Yeah,
kill the child, get rid of the child. So
yeah,
I think it's time for both individuals to be more responsible when it comes to it. So that's a good question because it opens up so much more than why being a virgin is not a bad thing. It may be complicated in a society, or it may be looked upon as unusual. However, what's wrong with being unusual? What's wrong with being unique? At one point, that was something that was promoted, being unique, being
yep,
original, being yourself, not trying to be like everybody else. And we all are. No matter how much you
yep,
try to emulate someone else, you can only be yourself. That's the
yep,
best you is being yourself. Sure, we take different things that we like from people and we incorporate it with ourselves, but the reality is be you, be yourself, and try to be the best you can be, even if it is being a virgin. So
yeah.
that's
That's
my
true.
take on
I used to, you know what I used to tell certain females when I used to meet when I used to be talking to females and just talking with them. And I would always, like, a lot of times I ask them what they want, in relationships or with life, and then I tell them what I want. And I used to always tell them that it's easy to cheat on somebody. You know what I mean? It's easy for a guy to come up to you and you smile in his face and you talking to him, you disrespecting your man and stuff like that. I said, but think about if you were strong and a guy tried to talk to you and you told him, I got a man. And everywhere you went, your aura and your presence let people know that, you got a man and you happily with him. Because it's easy to cheat. It's easy to be a flirt. But I used to tell females, but imagine being strong. You know what I mean? See,
it. Yeah,
that's different. I was just saying that because what you said about being different, and
right,
now that's
right.
being different. You know what I mean? Being strong and and respect your man and letting people know I love my man and you know what I mean? Like blah 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 blah. Like now that's being different. Because I told my daughters, everybody could have babies, everybody could get on welfare, everybody could live off the system. That's easy to do, but try not having children until you're ready. You know what I mean? Try
Yeah,
doing something different. Uh, Staying in school. You know what I mean? Try not messing with a lot of. Try that, and then see how people look at you. You know what I mean? Because
absolutely.
it's gonna show strength. But anyway, I want to get to the next question. I don't want to miss this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the last one. I ain't want to miss one because this is important. When I seen it, I liked it. I don't know if everybody's seen the roast, but if they didn't by now, they should have heard about it or seen it. If you don't know what a roast is when if you don't know what a roast is when you take a celebrity, a well-known, popular, successful celebrity, and then you get a whole bunch of comedians and other celebrities, and they call it a roast, and they go there and they tell jokes about the celebrity so they call that we roasting him. So the latest roast, and they got roasters that go way back. So you can look at roasters about Flip Wilson, Muhammad Ali, Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin. You guys got to Google it. But the latest roast is making all the noise across the world, and if you haven't seen it, you got to go see it. Is the Kevin Hart roast? When I seen it, I was like, wow, that's a good question. Because there's a lot of different ways to look at it. I got a lot of different ways to talk about it. But anyway, For people who ain't see it, go Google it, go on YouTube and watch the Kevin Hart roast. But anyway, what did you think about the Kevin Hart roast, y'all?
Uh, First of all, the two highlights for me, the highlights of it, that's how I summed it up. Like like you said, we've seen roasts, you know, over 100 roasts. Different people get
Yeah.
roasted. What the highlights? The two highlights for me was um, when
The
Cat
good
Williams
ones or the
came
bad
out.
ones?
The
The good
good
ones or
good
the bad
highlights.
ones? Oh, the
I'm
good
talking
ones.
about the good
Okay.
highlights. I
All right.
some of this, because it's it's a roast. So you go with the worst stuff. So of course you could
Yeah.
come up with all the worst stuff. My thing is I'm pushing past the worst stuff, but to the good stuff. The good thing
Mm-hmm.
was, what like I said, when Cat Williams came out, because they've been beefing. Cat Williams called them,
Yeah.
gay people, all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
taking roles he didn't want, things of that nature. So when I saw Cat Williams came out, I said that was good for young people, especially young cats on the street that like to call each other the ops. You know,
Mm-hmm.
okay, these cats were the ops. They was in opposition of each other. They opposed each other. They was beefing with each other. However, they had enough wherewithal and enough composure to say, okay, look, this is about money now. We can put our differences aside and let's get this money. We ain't even got to like each other. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
let's get this money. Let's eat. I think that was a message to a lot of different people because we have so many people in the world who don't want to work with other people because they don't like them. And meanwhile, even if you don't like them, this may be the person that could help you get financially independent. Because everybody don't have to be rich. A lot of people just want to be financially independent. So this
Yeah.
person that you don't like, that you beefing with, if you put that aside and deal with this person, y'all may come up with some ideas that can make both of you financially independent. The other part that I found was the highlight that I enjoyed was when he started naming all of the people that were sponsors. You know what I mean? All the different sponsors he had. He must name about 20 big companies. You know what I'm saying? So you he's showing you, look, man, you could be in. So imagine if if he getting 100,000 from each of them, which he probably getting more. He on the one with the Chase Bank, and you know he named so many. I just couldn't remember, but I was impressed, and I was like, wow, I respect that. So that's what I got out of it. That was my highlight that I clicked to. What did you get from it?
Oh, I didn't think you was gonna. I thought you was gonna talk about something else. Um, because Doctor Umar came on the internet and he said if another black person, and he said he talking to all the black celebrities, if another black person do a roast and let white people disrespect black people right in their face like Kevin Hart did, they gonna him and his people gonna rain down on him. And he was like, that goes for any celebrity, because they were saying a lot of racial stuff and a lot of stuff about black people, and I guess to black people face. Now I
Right.
didn't watch the whole roast. I watched some of it. I didn't hear when he gave the shout out to the companies that promoted it. Um, I did hear the Cat Williams part, and So I didn't really hear all the white people that was talking real racial and stuff for disrespecting black people, but I heard the backlash from it. How they was like the black, he was just sitting up there and they was talking about black people and stuff like that. Um, but it's always two sides to every story. So Kevin Hart went on the Breakfast Club the other day, yesterday. He went on
Right.
the Breakfast Club in the morning to clear it up. So I didn't hear all the racial jokes, all the so I don't really know all the racial jokes that was said, but I heard they was bad. But I heard his rebuttal for it, and he said that number one, a roast is comedy. I remember I seen a roast about Tom Brady, and Tom Brady let his wife have take up karate. She left him for the karate instructor,
Right.
and they was and at his roast, it was somebody was making jokes about Tom Brady, and they said to him how it feel letting somebody take somebody f your wife or something, and you and plus they could kick your ass or something like that. You
Right.
can't do nothing about it.
Right.
So and that was deep for him to sit up there and take that. But Kevin Hart said on the Breakfast Club that it's comedy. Number one.
Right.
Number two, the main thing that he said that out of everything, I don't want to talk about everything he said, but the main thing that he said was like what you just said about all the sponsors he named. He said it was my promotion. It's his promotion.
Right.
He produced it. He executive produced it. It's his promotion. So I thought about it for a minute, and I said, if that man went out, I didn't even know about the sponsors till you just said it. If he went
Right.
out and he did all the groundwork and he picked all the comedians and and um and it's his promotion, and if he picked the comedians, I'm sure he told them no holds barred, say whatever you want to say. I don't
Right.
care.
Right.
I'm sure he told them that.
Absolutely.
And the bottom line was, he said, it's my promotion. It's his name on the marquee.
There you go.
So anything that go on there or went on there, regardless of what anybody feel, it was done it was done on his on his time,
On his dime too. Shoot.
on his dime, yeah, his time and his
Yeah.
dime.
Right.
So when I heard him say that, I kind of, cause first I was like, Dr. Umar, right? They sitting up there letting white people disrespect black people. But then when I heard Kevin, it's two sides to every story. When I heard Kevin Hart, hey, if he all right with it,
Think
if
and
he
think
like it, I love it.
right. And think about this part of it. Anybody he brought up there is people that he close with that he know
Yeah,
whatever they saying, it's all in fun. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So once you
yeah,
get comfortable, because see the black and the white thing, I don't really play into that because that's that's
yeah.
that's part of the game that America uses to separate us from each other.
Right,
That's the game. The whole racial thing, Dr. Umar, to me, need to be ashamed of himself because he keep talking about racial stuff. You know what I mean? But the reality is, we've been hoodwinked to think it's about race when it's really about nationality. How we move with our nationality. We don't have a nationality. because we don't call ourselves American. We call ourselves African American or Black American. So
Mm-hmm.
we really don't have a nationality. So that's the key point. If he want to be talking about something, talk about Black people need to start trying to find out what their real nationality is and stop just accepting, okay, we only Black. No, we more than Black. And more than Black.
Dr. Umar?
Nah, it ain't that I don't like him. I met him prior to him even doing this when he just used to he was at the college, PCC, when he was really like the psychologist for the children. I met him then when he was sincerely. Now he's to me, he's on clickbait. He on money now. He trying to get bread.
Yeah.
So he gonna keep the thing going and keep people like interested with the racial stuff, and I'm not really with it. I'm not really with the racial stuff. I mean, I love all people. However, the people who I cling to the most is the people that I belong to. That I share ethnicity with. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
most people do that. They're going to be around and want the people that they share ethnicity with to be okay, and then everybody else be okay. I don't see nothing wrong with that. you know. So, but that's our time. So
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
want to, yeah, I want to say that, family conversation matters. These are conversations that matter. You know, um,
That's right.
conversations that make you think. Conversations, where that challenge you, that challenge your thought pattern, challenge your mindset, get you to look at things in a different way, open you up to something new. That's what we're here to do. You know, we're here to, and if you guys, you guys and ladies, you have some questions, make a comment. What you think about the show? How can we make the show better? How can we make it more amusing and more entertaining and more educational? Put that in the comments. And all right,
Mm-hmm.
brother, you know,
All right.
it's let them know, and tell I want
Oh,
everybody stay grounded, stay true to yourself. You know, go ahead.
yeah. No, I'll be on tomorrow night at 10 on Keeping It Real Facebook Live and TikTok Live at JShaw763, and I'll be resuming the food show on Sundays. Jay Sean's Food Tasting Sundays. I didn't do it last weekend because it was Memorial Day. So I'll be back on that Sunday, hopefully. But definitely tomorrow night I'll be doing my Keeping It Real show. And thanks for tuning in for the people who tuned in.
Absolutely. Like I said, all you that are watching, we're thankful and grateful. We want you to, stay up, stay grounded, be kind to yourself and others. Till next week, drop some comments.
That's right, it's easy.
All right. Peace.
Peace.